boasting some of the most unique elements to date inside a long and distinct layout. It's one of the most thrilling coasters to ever be put inside a world-class, high-attendance theme park like Islands of Adventure, and is one that is sure to shock guests and change the industry for the better. Welcome to a Jurassic World Velocicoaster, element by element analysis. Thanks to long trains, comfortable seats, and the roomy restraints of the Jurassic World Velocicoaster, this ride is one where every element feels different than other iterations of the same element you may have ridden elsewhere. For this reason, it becomes one of the most re-rideable coasters, thanks to its unique way of having every seat feel a bit different, and it's one where opinions will differ greatly from person to person. It's a ride that's fun to talk about and one that you're going to want to get right back in line for. Starting off with a 0 to 50 mph launch in 3.0 seconds, this launch has some kick to it, but it's less than I personally expected. The takeoff seems gradual and the acceleration is very smooth. Into a tilted Immelman, you get a bit of hang time at the top, and it pulls you over with quite a bit of speed if sitting in the back of the train. You may find yourself hanging forward out of your seat, and the pullout comes quick, especially in that back row, which is a big surprise. If you like positive G's, they mentally seem to hit stronger in the back during the first half of the ride. If you're a fan of negative G's and airtime, I feel that the front is the way to go, especially for these first two inversions. After some surprising positive G's, you're straight into another element where a massive difference can be found from the front of the train versus the back. Thanks to what seems like minimal heartlining through the twist of this inversion, the front of the train has a nice pop of airtime during the entry that perfectly transitions into hang time while plunging back down. The back of the train will also get some hang time once turned upside down, but it's really one part of the ride where you'll benefit from sitting near the front. The element is shaped beautifully, and this is the first moment where I was genuinely surprised with what the ride was offering. There's also a hidden call out to the previous Triceratops encounter attraction near this element. See if you can spot it. It might take a few rides until you notice it. The first overbank of the ride is really taken with some speed, which results in some very nice positive G's that are sustained from the previous element. The much higher pullout of the element might also take you by surprise, as it has a little bit of snap to it as you're exiting. The following twisted AIRHILL pulls you down with quite a bit of force. The element has one of the stronger airtime moments, though it is over very quick. Down towards the pathway and back up, the train flies by some onlookers quickly before ascending back up through the rockwork and out of sight. Some downward curves have you flying by some raptors. These audible dinos aren't too noticeable as they go by so quickly, so the audio clue at this point is very welcomed. Lighting at night points them out, but it could be brighter, and the creatures do add to this section as they're staring you straight down, and it's taken with not the greatest amount of speed. A second overbank definitely isn't as insane as the first one. Taken with a bit less speed and pulling out more naturally compared to the first, this overbank turns you back towards the center of the paddock. The following element is one that I've mentioned about being excited about during construction updates, but it's hard to convey as there's really no great images of it. It delivers a fun pop of airtime, especially in the left seat where your body is pushed up and then whipped back downwards. It's the personal highlight for me of the first half of this attraction, and it's an element that will surprise you. Through the rockwork again, you're up into another twisted airtime moment. It's your moment to breathe and wave at the onlookers from behind the paddock fence, as it really doesn't deliver any negative G's, but just a moment of weightlessness. Things get crazy after this relatively slow element. To conclude the first half, I'd have a hard time believing anyone could choose the back as their favorite seat if the ride were to end here. The front seat really shines through the first half of this roller coaster in my opinion. Into launch number 2. This launch goes from 40 to 70 miles per hour, and it goes on for a bit longer than expected. It's a great view in the front to see all the lighting effects as you head down the tunnel, and the speed is very impressive. Suddenly you're already out of the launch tunnel and into the massive top hat. The top hat is another element that really has a huge difference from the front to the back of the train. The front provides a great awesome view and some airtime as you head up the top hat that transitions into floater airtime on the way down. In the backseat, it's really going to feel like you barely made it over the top hat, but on the way down, it likely has the strongest moment of airtime throughout the entire ride as you exit the peak and pull down into the steepest moment of the ride. This massive element personally is not a highlight of the ride for me, but it does give you a moment to look around, take in the view, and also what is to come. The quick right left and into the 100-foot long stall. This element comes very quick, and it's one where the left and right side of the train will feel a lot different. Both provide a 0G moment in the center of the stall, but it's over extremely quick. The element doesn't feel like a stall, it's more about the entry and the exit here, which are both extremely fun. Your body is thrown one way to the side, and then just as you seem to straighten out, you get tossed again to the side. It's an extremely fun moment, and the left seat provides a strong pull as you enter and exit, and it's my choice of side for this element in particular. Down and back up into a short wave turn. You'll feel as though you're being launched out of your seat before turning more to the right. It doesn't feel as strong as something from RMC, and it's over quite quickly, but very fun nonetheless. Another twisted airhill. This is not an outer banked airhill as many have called it. The twisted straight hill is one of the stronger moments of negative G's through the ride. And because it enters from the right and also exits to the right is where you want to sit during this element. You really get pushed up into the element and then pulled right back down. It's an awesome moment of negative G's. Another overbank turn. It provides minimal G's, followed by a floaty moment of weightlessness. Personally, I wish this small airhill wasn't there at all, and I wish it was actually just a straight section of track right over the water. If this was a straight section of track, you really would mentally feel how fast you're traveling at this point, and you'd also be able to focus on the Mosasaurus roll that is about to come. It would make the following roll even more epic than it already is. This Heartline roll element, which is called the Mosasaurus roll, is one that will catch you off guard when you ride. It's a feeling like never before as you start to get some hang time, but then something odd happens. There's a small kink in the track, and it seems to give your butt a bit of a push out of your seat even further, so you fly further out of your seat mid-roll. It's something you really need to feel to believe. It's a great, perfectly shaped element, and it feels like nothing you've ever been through before. It's definitely my favorite inversion of all time, and I still really can't wrap my head around this element, but it's perfect. If you're sitting in the right side of the train and you just lean your body a little to the right, you'll really get pulled through this element. If you're in the left side of the train, you're getting whipped down, so the negative G's are even stronger in the left. And this element really is so good that it does deserve this cheesy name, the Mosasaurus roll. Buy into the hype of the Mosasaurus roll because it's all true. This roll is absolutely incredible. Following this roll is definitely one of the most underrated moments of the ride because it does have to follow this perfect barrel roll. It's one of the stronger moments of negative G's on both sides of the train, and it really just doesn't give you a second to breathe, and then another strong pop into the brake run. It is the best possible ending that could happen to this ride. Overall, this is a ride that I just want to ride over and over again. It's a ride that's fun to pick apart element by element and really think about. As you can tell, I feel this ride differs greatly as you ride from the front to the back of the train and the left and the right seats. And the small scale feeling it has while on the ride is great since every element just feels quicker and more exciting. Transitions feel quick, airtime feels strong, and the ride is one that may be a one and done for some because there are moments where forces are pretty strong. The Jurassic World Velocicoaster has two distinct halves that both differ tremendously but shine in their own unique ways. The front half of the ride is definitely better in the front, and the back half of the ride is likely better in the back. Personally, I still really can't figure out my favorite seat. If I were right there in the station and could jump on, I think I would choose the front right. So that's what I'm gonna have to go with. But truly, the front and the back are so different, you'll have to try them both out. Get to Islands of Adventure and check out this ride over and over again and let me know what seat is your favorite. You can find my full review of this roller coaster by clicking the link in the description or comments below. Thanks for watching.